Hey guys, a lot of you already know about Savior passive skill for pets, which is one of the best skills to have on your pet, especially for PvP content. But today I just wanted to showcase what in my opinion is the best skill to have on your pet for PvE content, and I feel it's kind of underrated and a lot of people look over it. I talked about this briefly at the end of my last video where I cleared Challenger 500 and I had a pet in my setup in the companion pet slot which had this skill. But I just thought it warranted its own video and I just wanted to test it further. So let's just jump right into it. So first of all, I just wanted to show you guys how to test your familiar skills. So many people don't realize this, but you can actually test familiar skills at the dummy, but it's just bugged. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Kapova, who's the first player to tell me about this. So right now I'm in the dummy section. You can see even if I'm moving closer to the dummy, my pet isn't attacking. So what you actually have to do is click your portrait here and click leave game, and what you just want to do is just relog your character while you're inside the training dummy zone, and once you're in, you'll notice that your pet's going to be attacking the dummy. You just have to move it, and you can see my pet's now attacking the dummy and it's being tracked in the miscellaneous section. The damage it's done is being tracked here. One thing to note is that you can see it's going to be attacking every 20 seconds, so if I just wait for the cooldown to end here, you'll see that it's going to attack again, as long as I'm in range. So you can see it just attacked again there, and I got the damage breakdown. If you leave this zone here, and then come back, you'll notice that the pet won't attack no matter what you do. So once again, I'm going to wait for the cooldown, and even if I move closer or move around, the pet isn't going to attack. So what you have to do again is just leave game, and make sure you don't leave the area for as long as you want to test. So I really hope that Blizzard fixes this bug, and I'm sure that they're aware of this issue, but if they're not, then I've just made the video about it, so hopefully they can see it, and I hope it gets fixed on a future patch. So now that we have a baseline to test our pet skills, the skill I want to showcase in this video is Lingering Wounds, which is what I believe to be the best skill in PvE content. So Lingering Wounds it basically gives your character a damage buff if the enemies are affected by abnormal status from the familiar skill. So this starts at 12%, 12.7%, and it can go all the way up to 36.5% for a legendary skill. But it's based off the insight of the pet. So you can see I have 157 insight here, and that's given me another almost 3% basically, on top of the 12.7% which the rare skills start at. So the reason why the abnormal effect is applied is because of Broodtalon's burning effect, which lasts for 6 seconds. So even though this skill only lasts for 3 seconds, because the Broodtalon effect applies a tick, which will keep reapplying the Lingering Wounds, this actually ends up lasting for 9 seconds, because it's the full 6 seconds plus another 3 seconds from the last tick. So it's actually lasting for 9 seconds every 20 seconds that the familiar does its skill. And you can even reduce the familiar active skill from 20 seconds all the way down to 14 seconds if you have the cooldown passive skill, which can reduce it down. So let's get started with our testing. So just to get a baseline of what damage looks like, I've got all my gear off, my charms, and I've got the companion pet also slot also free. And let's just take a baseline of Magic Missile for Wizard. So if I just attack this dummy here, sometimes I'm critting, but let's just take a look at the normal damage numbers. So right now I'm getting 7.9k, and then I sometimes get 11k. So now what I'm going to do is take the pet, the Broodtalon, which has the Lingering Wound skill, and just equip it as my companion pet. And let's just take a look at the numbers. So it's already applied the effect. You can see the armor break on top, and you can see that the effect is getting reapplied, and now my damage numbers have gone to 9k and 13k, I believe, almost 13k. So you can see that this is having a big effect on the damage. Let's just wait for this pet to reapply, and let's actually see how long it lasts for. It should be 9 seconds. So right now we're just waiting for the pet to get the cooldown back. Let's just see how long it lasts for. So it just applied it. So you can see 9k, 13k, 9k, 13k, those are the damage numbers we need to focus on. There's other damage numbers, but they're coming from the pet. And now we're back to normal. So that lasted pretty much 9 seconds, like I said. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put on a different pet. This is why this skill is so good on Broodtalon or Skitterite, like I mentioned in my last video. It's because of the longer duration of these pet active skills. So you can see also Skitterite has this 6-second pool of poison, which it puts. But I have another pet here, which is the, let me just check. It's the Myrrjen, I think, with also with lingering wounds here. It's just the baseline 12.7. But let's just see how long this lasts for, because Myrrjen's skill, it only lasts, like, it's an instant skill. It doesn't last for the 3-second or 6-second ground effect. So now I have the Myrrjen equipped. Let's just take a look. So my damage numbers once again start from 7.9 to 11.1. Let's get Myrrjen to do his skill and see how long it lasts for now. So now I've gone to 9k to 12.7, but you can see how quick it goes back to 7.9 and 11k. Like, it's so quick, it only lasts for the 3 seconds, and this is because Myrrjen isn't applying the tick effect, which extends the duration. So you can see once again, it's so quick to go back. Now it's already gone back. So what I did next is I asked one of my friends to join the party, and I told him also to unequip all of his gear and just check how his damage is after the Broodtalon does its attack. So unfortunately I can't see his individual damage numbers just from my screen, so I asked him to take some screenshots of his damage and we can confirm that the Broodtalon damage buff actually applies for the whole party. So here are the two screenshots side by side, and once again you can see it's a 15.8% increase. So now I want to test what a 30-second damage rotation looks like, and for this first test I'm going to have the Duskprowler, which is the pet I use in PvP, and this is the main companion pet that a lot of people like to use, and I have all my traits active with this setup, as well as the Salvager. So I'm going to do a 30-second damage rotation while the pet's doing their attacks, and let's see what kind of damage I get. And let's stop there. Okay, so in a 30-second time range with the Duskprowler pet, which isn't offering so much in PvE, I got 2 million damage per second and 60.6 million total damage done. Now I'll switch over to Broodtalon and let's see how we get on. So because I didn't show it in the last part of the video, I'm actually just going to quickly show all of the skills that the Duskprowler that I used had. And as you can see, it doesn't have anything that affects PvE damage so much, and it doesn't have lingering wounds. So I'm going to switch over, like I said, to the Broodtalon, and the Broodtalon has the same traits as the Duskprowler, so it's a fair test. Like, I'm not using any extra damage from traits, it's purely going to be the damage from the lingering wounds skill, which I talked about. So let's take a look at how we do. And let's stop there. Okay, so in the same 30-second window, this time I got 2.27 million damage per second and a total damage of 68.3 million. And just looking side by side, I'm going to put the numbers on screen. You can see that this is a huge damage increase to use the Broodtalon with lingering wounds compared to the Duskprowler pet. So in PvP, it's not really realistic for your opponent to stay in the ground effect from the pet, but in activities like dungeons, raids, challenge rifts, having a pet like this is extremely useful, especially when running in a group, since you'll be buffing your whole group. One thing which I'm not sure about, which I didn't have time to test, is whether the pet stacks. So let's say if everybody in the party has this pet, I'm not sure if the damage buff will be added on top of each other. My guess is that it will take the highest damage value from the Lingering Wounds buff and apply that. The other thing which I really wanted to test is whether this works with Relentless Strikes, because this skill allows your familiar to double cast, so I'm not too sure if it will apply the buff twice or not. Unfortunately, I don't have access to pets with these legendary skills, but if somebody has tested this, then please do let me know in the comments. Of course, Savior is an insanely good skill in both PvP and PvE, but for raw damage, Lingering Wounds is definitely the best skill to use, in my opinion. The only other skill which I think could be useful could be Innovate, which has a chance of resetting player cooldown, but I think that the chance is way too low, and it would probably be better to just simply go for the familiar cooldown reduction, which is the Tenacity skill which I showed at the start of the video. So let's quickly talk about the damage build I'm using for the dummy. So for the skills, I'm using Lightning Nova, Disintegrate, Black Hole, Meteor, and Primary Attack as Magic Missile. As for the essence, I am using the Black Hole Essence's Silver Lining for the helmet and Chaos Rupture for the offhand. For Lightning Nova, I'm using Coat of Vexation Chest, which is one of the new essence, and I'm also using the Old Rustic, which increases your primary attack speed. And then for Disintegrate, I'm using the Barbs of Annihilation, which does the armor dissolve, and I'm using Death Star Striders for the Meteor essence, which increases the Meteor damage. And for Magic Missile, I'm using Force of Arrakis, which increases Magic Missile damage, and Blaster Cast, which makes it shoot 3 missiles rather than 1. As for the sets, I'm using a 4-piece Banquet set, and I am using 4-piece Vithus. And my resonance is 3.4k, and my secondaries look like this, although the secondaries like on the dummy aren't so important. It's mainly just the damage which you want to look at. Before I end the video, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I've been noticing a lot of people engaging with my videos recently, and it's been a real joy talking to all the new subscribers who subscribed through my Paragon pushing video or my Challenger to 500 video, which I had at the start of this week. So with that said, I'll be signing off, and I'll see you all in the next one.